Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, so where are we, guys? Okay, before that, online students, am I audible and you could see my screen? Online students, am I audible and you could see my screen? Yes, okay, good. So, where are we, guys? What are we discussing in the last class? Again, I think I was going into some Angular difference. What is TypeScript? What is the difference between the Angular JS and Angular? And I think I have answered all the questions what we had yesterday, isn't it? So these, I mean, whatever the questions we have earlier, we have framed some questions. So those things we have covered. Before that, who all are new to this class? Only today? Most of you. Okay, so guys, we are already done with two of the classes. In two of the classes, we are still going into the demo. I haven't gone to the depth because we know that still people will be joining. Anyway, actual classes I'm going to start from Monday. From Monday, I'm going to start with the content, etc. So today and tomorrow also, I'll go with the demo itself, the background stuff, etc. But anyway, whatever the classes you have missed, the two classes, right? We had. Yeah, the two classes, I'm going to share you the video links. Management is responsible for sharing you the top 5 video links. Okay, by tomorrow you should able to access it. And offline or online, guys, he is Mr. Ramesh. You can have his contact number. He is our admin. So keep his contact number handy. Anytime you have any questions regarding the admin, he is responsible. Anyone who is done with the registration, please ping him, share him the details. He will be adding you to the Telegram group. Okay, he is the one who has to add you to the Telegram group. So I cannot do that. Only once you add it to the Telegram group, then only I will be giving you the GitHub access, collaborator. Everything will be tracked from there itself. Am I clear? So any piece of questions you have, you can go with this. With his number, and please make him only the messages. Don't call him. He's a bit busy with handling multiple batches. Just put him a WhatsApp message. He will be replying back to your messages. Okay, both offline and online. Keep this number handy. So he said that tomorrow he's going to provide. So tomorrow we are going to share you the 3 video links, whatever we have. We have finished till now. Okay, fine, everyone. Okay, and one more thing, guys, like some people, you have a confusion that regarding the package here. I mean, a lot of people think that UI full stack is 10K and this is 10K. No, that is not the case. If it is only UI full stack development, it is only 5K. Okay, and these are the technologies what are we going to cover over here. If you say that I even want to go for Angular or React framework along with this, then it will be 10K. Okay, it is not like 10K for this and 10K for this. That is just 5K and this is 5K. If you say that no, boss, first of all, I'll finish the UI full stack, then I will go with the framework, then this is 5K and this is 5K. Okay, combiningly it is 10K. Don't go for a misassumption that both are 10K, 10K and all. Okay, and as I said you, if you go with the UI full stack, this is the one what are we going to cover. Along with this one framework, you may choose either go for Angular or you may go with the React. It's up to you. It's not mandatory that you need to go with only one of the, I mean, only Angular or only React. Any of the things you can go with. Okay, so most of the students were asking a question that, boss, like what if like I join for UI full stack development? What if I feel not comfortable and I have even already paid for the framework also? If that is the case, first you opt for the full stack program only. Okay, it's up to you anyway, but what I'm saying is you can opt for the UI full stack program. You see what is your comfortable level, how you are understanding the things and all. Based on that, you can even start with a parallel batch of Angular or React. Okay, and this is also one of the question what people are saying that boss, I mean, do we really need to wait until this complete MongoDB, GitHub, etc., everything is done, then I need to go with Angular or React? Not mandatory. Okay, after we finish this HTML, CSS and advanced JavaScript with ECMA 6, I will give a reminder in the class saying that, boss, now you guys are eligible for joining the React or Angular batches. Okay, at that time you can go with the parallel batch. Not mandatory that you need to finish this, then only I need to go with Angular. No. Okay, once we finish this advanced JavaScript, because now if you ask me a question, what if I start now itself I start with the parallel batch of UI full stack along with the framework Angular or React. The problem what you have is when you go with the framework, you are being expected to know the classes concepts, and some advanced ECMAScripts concepts are already being used in your frameworks. So they don't go with, now say for example, you joined other faculty for a framework. Now they don't start with what is JSON, what is etc and all. They believe that you already know the JavaScript and advanced JavaScript. Okay, that is where you are going to have a gap. That is the reason first we will finish this guy. After you finish up to that part, then you can start working on the parallel batch. Minimally to finish advanced JavaScript and Aqua6, I will be minimally needed 1 month of time, because we are going to handle the things from the very scratch. So I take for HTML, CSS itself, I'm going to take like 10 to 15 classes. And after that JavaScript and advanced JavaScript, obviously it's going to take some 15 to 20 classes again. Okay, after that, then you will be in a good position to start with your parallel batch. Am I clear? No, okay, next. See, please provide the recording option for this course. Soumya, if you have a software, you can actually do the recordings from your machine. There is already a permission. I don't need to give any permission here. You can simply do the recordings. Okay, this is one option what you can go for, guys. Yesterday I already said this, right? If at all you want to go with the recording, you need to pay for that. Why you want to pay extra if you really want to get the recording from the management? Instead, online students anyway, a lot of people are joining, they can do the recordings from their machine. They simply share within the Telegram group. What are we going to create sooner? So that everyone will have the recording. You can go with the revise over there. And as I said, please make a good use of it. Don't use it in a wrong way, that uploading in your channels, etc., for viewers and subscriptions. Okay, next. Yeah, so today let me talk about these technologies. I said that these are the technologies what are we going to cover in this complete training program. We have a part of UI, we have a part of server side, we have a part of database, and we have some tools also, isn't it? Now let me talk about a brief idea of each and every technology. I will not go into the deeper here, just a broader picture of what actually individual technology is used for. Am I clear? I'm not going into the deeper, because when I actually go for what is HTML, then I will give you a clear picture that what is a tag, how do you make use of it. Those things I'll discuss more deeper. But for now, I just want to give you a small brief introduction of what individual technology is used for. So the very first thing, okay, before that, if I say I'm a UI developer, what are the roles and responsibilities? If I say that I'm a UI developer in an organization, what are the roles and responsibilities? Come on, we discuss this. No, I'm saying that I'm a UI developer. What are my roles and responsibilities? What I need to do? Develop the web pages. I need to go with development of the web pages. That is what expected from a front-end developer or a UI developer. Now, whenever I'm developing this web pages, say for example, I go with some Amazon. Okay, assume like this is the web page what we have developed. Assume any web page you go, is it not you are going to see some content on the page? Don't look into the offers. Okay, so is it not like you're going to see some contents on the page? Yes, I see some messages, I see some controls, I see some content. A lot of things are being shown on the page. Super fine. But now, who is responsible for adding these type of content on the page? So that is where you have something called as HTML. So HTML is a predefined markup language which is responsible for showing the data on the page. Doesn't matter what the web page you go for Google, you go for Flipkart, you go for GitHub, any web page, whatever you have an idea, you just go with this. Every web page, the content, whatever you could see, it is just because of this HTML language. What is the full form of HTML? Hypertext Markup Language. So why it is called as a markup, I will discuss that later. Okay, there is other markup language which is XML, extendable markup language. I'll talk about why it is markup language and all, but for a just broader idea of this language, HTML is responsible for showing the content or reading the content, whatever you see on the page. Everything is just possible with your HTML. Super fine. The next thing is we have something called a CSS. Anyone full form? Online students. So obviously it is cascading style sheets. What is the responsibility of the CSS? CSS is one of the technology which is responsible for adding the beautification of the web page. Okay, CSS is always responsible for adding the beautification of the web page. Whatever the look and feel changes you see something called as some background colors, you see some font size, bold color, you see some spaces, you see some borders, any type of look and feel changes you see on the web page, it is all being done with your CSS. Okay, CSS is responsible for adding the beautification. HTML is responsible for showing the content on the page. Now, anytime you want to create a web page, you may ask me a question, boss, if I know HTML to render the content, if I know CSS in order to add the beautification, is my job is done? Why should I go for other technologies? I can develop the web pages using my HTML, CSS also, right? Why the reason I go for other technologies? When yes, you can actually develop the web pages just by using the HTML and CSS only. But what type of web pages are called as? Those are called as static pages. So what do you mean by the static web pages? Static web pages are the web pages which are just for informative. It is only for reading the content. Just you get the information, you close it out. Nothing like dynamic operations. Practical example, say for something called as a museum is creating a web page. Do you go for any registration, etc. things over there? No. What is the use of this museum web page? It is simply showing that this item is there in our store, and this is the history of this web page. As simple as it is. Practical example, let me show you. There is one of the web page, Kraken esystems.com. Yeah, this is one of the web page what we have created. Okay, so this is one of the Kraken eSystem.com is one of the web page. Do you see anything called as dynamicness over here? No, it is simple static. I just want to know what actually Kraken eSystem is. What are their information? What actually those history, etc. and all. I'm simply reading. I'm getting out of it. If at all you have to create such a type of static pages, HTML and CSS are just enough. You don't need any other technology for that. Okay. Now, then in that case, the other technology what we are learning is JavaScript. What is JavaScript here? It is one of the super heroic programming language, very, very powerful client-side scripting language. Why it is called as client-side scripting language? In order to execute a JavaScript code, you don't need to execute or you don't need to have any dependency of any external servers. Okay, say for example, I have a PHP code. Do I need to execute in a server? I need to have a dependency of a server. Yes. If at all I need to execute the Java instructions, do I need to have the JRE or the JVM environment over there? Yes. If I need to execute the Visual Studio or what do you say, scripting, I mean .NET piece of code, I need to get execute. Now what I need to do? Do I need to have the .NET environment, Visual Studio Code environment? Then only I can execute the piece of code. Yes, it is. So anytime you want to execute that server side piece of code, for sure you need to have the particular environment in order to execute the piece of code. Even if you go with your C and C++, I need to have the compiler, C compiler or Turbo C compiler you need to have, then only you can execute the instructions. But coming to the JavaScript, you as a developer don't need to set any type of environment. You don't need to set up any type of compilers or the interpreters, or you don't need to install any of the external softwares. Why so? You just need to execute the code within the browser. Under the browser, there is something called as a JavaScript engine. Every browser by default comes with individual JavaScript engines, which are responsible for compiling and interpreting the JavaScript code. Okay, that is the reason you don't need to install anything, because anyway you create a web page, you run within the browser only, right? Browser is already having a capability of executing HTML, of executing CSS, of executing JavaScript. That is more than enough. Super fine. But why the reason we have to introduce JavaScript in my page? When I could able to create the content using HTML, when I could able to add the beautification to the content using CSS, why the reason I'm again going with the JavaScript? The main intention for going for JavaScript is logical ability. If at all you want to implement any logical ability, if at all I want to perform any arithmetic operations, if at all I want to implement any dynamic operations on the web page, that is where you need to go with the JavaScript. Now, what do you mean by dynamic page? As I said you, one type of page is static page and one is dynamic pages. What do you mean by this dynamic page? A page which is responsible of taking the input from the user and perform the response according to the user input. That is what we call it as dynamic pages. Example, I go for Amazon. Does Amazon know that what I'm going to search for? Does Amazon know that what I'm going to search for, what products I'm going to search for? No. Now I say something called as some bikes I'm searching. Whenever I'm searching the bikes here, is my web page is responding back accordingly? My web page has dynamically changed the look and feel according to the user request. These things we call it as dynamic. Now when you go with something called Google, okay, when I go with google.com, now under this, it never know that what I'm going to search for. Now I say that today's news. Now when I search for this, is my web page is responding accordingly? So implies dynamically this page got created. It is not something called, now if you see this Kraken e-systems already created something. Whenever you hit it, that is what I will show. But Amazon, Google, Flipkart, these pages, nothing got created already. They have some dynamic code. You give the input, based on your input, I'm generating a result and I'm going to show it on the page here. Am I clear? So that is what we call it as a dynamicness. Anytime you want to implement the dynamicness in your web page, we simply go with the JavaScript. Lot of people, when I ask them a question, boss, why the reason we go with the JavaScript? They come up with the answer saying that validations. Yes or no? Have you ever heard about this? A lot of people say that JavaScript is used for validation. That is not the case nowadays. Earlier, yes, they used to develop the web pages using the server-side technologies. That is the reason they used to go with the JavaScript only for implementing the validations. But nowadays, that is not the case, boss. JavaScript has become super powerful that we are using the JavaScript to implement the dynamicness on your web pages. Okay, you have to, in order to get the dynamicness, arithmetic ability, logical ability, that is where you go with the JavaScript along with small validations also. Any questions? Dynamic is, this is what Amazon, right? Now Amazon page is a dynamic web page. Google page is a dynamic. It never know. I mean, it is not like they have already created a page for today's news, right? It is not like I already created for today's news or I have already created a page for cars or bikes. No, you put a request accordingly. I'm going to generate the page dynamically. Okay, it never know that I'm going to search for bikes. But when I say something called as bikes, now it is going to generate a page dynamically over here. This is what we call it as dynamicness of your web page. Clear, everyone? Okay. Now, you may ask me a question, boss, nowadays in the market, there are competitors, isn't it? Now, when I say I want to perform sum of two numbers, I want to read some student details and I want to show to the user, you can go with C language, you can go with C++, Python, Java, .NET, etc. Lot of web programming languages are there. Okay, now you tell me what are the competitors for HTML? What are the competitors for CSS? What are the competitors of JavaScript? The main advantage what you have is no competitors for HTML, CSS and JavaScript. As simple as it is. The reason is you are going to develop a web page and where you are going to execute the web page, obviously within the browser. Now, do you need to go with only that particular technology what my browser understands? Yes or no? Obviously. Why so? Whenever I develop a web page, I take the web page and I put into my browser. Implies my end user, the guy who is executing is the browser. Then do I need to follow his instructions? Do I need to only restrict to the condition, to the languages what he understands? Yes or no? Still confusion? Understood? Okay, let me repeat again. Anyway, we are going to develop the piece of code. Okay, we develop the piece of code. After we develop the piece of code, where are we executing? Obviously within the browser. Implies, do I need to follow that what browser understands? Now I say as a developer, I developed a web page using Java. Now I take it to a browser. Does the browser understand? No. Obviously, do I need to follow only the things what browser will understand? Understood? Okay. Now the only technologies what browser is going to understand is HTML, CSS and JavaScript. As simple as it is. The only three technologies. That is the reason there is no competitors here. I cannot say that no boss, instead of HTML I want to go with something else. No boss. Now if you say programming language, I want to solve something logical. You say that I will go with C++. You go. I'll say I will go with Java. You go. I'll say Python. It's up to you. But if you are developing the things like a web page, no competitors here. Only HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Clear everyone? Okay. Now, other than this, now why the reason you go with HTML? Showing the content on the page. Why the reason we go with the CSS? Adding the beautification. Why the reason we go with the JavaScript? Adding the logical ability. Now you may throw me a question, boss, HTML showing the content, adding the beautification through CSS, logical ability we are doing with JavaScript. Why the hell are we going with other technologies then? Aren't we developing the complete web page using these three itself? Yes. If you want to develop any of the web page, these three are more than enough, guys. That is the reason you have to be very much strong on this HTML, CSS and JavaScript. If you are strong on these three, you are done. You don't need to go with others. Then why the reason others are there? Like advanced JavaScript is there. Sorry, advanced JavaScript is anyway JavaScript. Like you have HTML5, you have CSS3, you have Bootstrap, you have Angular, you have React, lot of other things also there. What are the other things are doing here? Those all are add-ons to the existing HTML. Now, when you go with HTML5, what is that? It is an extension of HTML. If there is no HTML, there is no HTML5. If there is no CSS, there is no CSS3. If there is no JavaScript, no Angular, no React, no jQuery, nothing is there. So it's all on the top. They are building up or piling up with some new features, some predefined things. You make use of it to get the job. You make use of those libraries or the frameworks to get the job done more faster. That is why we have all this. You say that no boss, I only go with CSS, HTML, JavaScript. You can always go with those in order to develop the things. But when you go into the organization, people want the things more faster. If it is JavaScript, I need to write this much of code. If I go with any of the framework, I work with only this some small piece of code. Obviously, this is suggested, right? Yes or no? Being a developer, being an organization, say for example, you are joining in one of my organization as a UI developer. I want the things to be more faster developed. Today I give a job. If you finish in by evening, awesome. But you say that no boss, I will use plain JavaScript. I will take another week of time. Why the reason? Why should I spend some time? If you use the framework, you will finish it in just one or couple of days. You don't need to take 7 days or a number of times, a number of days. Okay, that is why frameworks, libraries are suggestible. Yesterday, some of you guys were asking, boss, isn't that UI full stack code is not enough? Why I should go with framework and all? This is the purpose. People want the things more faster, sophisticated, following with some set of rules and regulation. Yesterday, I talked about the difference between the library and a framework, isn't it? So when I said about the framework, I said that it is coming with some predefined things. In order to get that guy, you need to follow some set of rules and regulations, isn't it? So for doing such, you're actually going with the frameworks or libraries. Is everyone so clear about what HTML and CSS and JavaScript is doing? Guys, you online students, you're getting an issue with my voice. Is it for everyone? Okay, someone asking a question, Galaxy. What is validation? Guys, when you're logging into your Zoom, please make sure you put your name. It doesn't look good for me to call you as Nokia, Samsung, Galaxy and all. Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, what is this question is, what is validation? Validation is something called reading the data from the user and validating whether it is a valid information or not. Now I said password. Okay, password should be 8 characters length. Password should be having a single number. It should have a single symbol. It should start with a caps. Is it not like validations? So after reading the data, to check whether user has entered a valid information or not. That is what we call it as validation. Okay, so hope you are clear, Galaxy. Okay, nice. Next. So this is what about the HTML, CSS and JavaScript, guys. If you are strong on these three technologies, every other thing will go like a flight. Okay, if you are strong on the basics, because these are the basics here. Guys, Shiva is having audio problem, Asif is having. Anyone else facing this audio problem, guys? Anyone else? Oh, is it for everyone? Oh, I think someone has unmuted. Okay, are you clear now, guys? Guys, if you are not talking, please don't unmute yourself. Otherwise, I will remove the option of unmuting. The reason why I gave to unmuting is so that if you want, you can speak. Okay. Otherwise, I'll just remove the option. If you want to speak, guys, please let me know so that I will give you an option. You can actually speak out. Online students. Yeah. So this is about your HTML, CSS and JavaScript, guys. If you got expertise in these two, you can create any type of web pages. Okay. Next, what are the other technologies we are going for? Yeah. The next thing is advanced JavaScript. So this advanced JavaScript, nothing new, guys. I just differentiated between the JavaScript and advanced JavaScript here. Like whatever the advanced parts we have, I made it as advanced JavaScript. Core concepts we have, I made it as a JavaScript. So under the advanced JavaScript, we'll be looking into what I mean by JSON object. How do you create a JSON objects? How do you implement the inheritance between the objects? Okay, how do you go with the closures? How do you add the data security using your JavaScript? And I will be talking about exception handling, user-defined exceptions, try, catch, throw, etc. Those things I'll be calling under the advanced JavaScript. In general, there is nothing like JavaScript and advanced JavaScript. Both are almost like the same. Okay, just basic concepts and advanced concept I just differentiated. Okay, and coming to the ECMA 6, as I said you, ECMA is one of the organization. Okay, it is not a new technology. It is just a new organization which is giving some set of standards. You follow that set of standards, you will be called as a ECMA standard. Practical example. You would have seen in most of the institutes, companies, organization, they say that we are ISO 2001 certified, ISO 2002 certified. What do you mean by that? Standard organization, that is the full form. What next? Standard. Sorry. Okay. What actually that organization do is they are giving some set of standards, isn't it? Are they doing any manufacturing, etc. things and all? No. Say for example, you bought a pressure cooker. Under that you see something called as ISI mark, and you see what is that ISI mark? People say that if I see ISI mark, simply close your eyes and you take it out. Why so? If there is no ISI mark, I need to see what is the quality of the steel. I need to see what is the quality of the handle. I need to see what is the quality of how it is going to handle the pressure, etc. and all. If it is ISI, I don't need to check it, simply take it. Why so? There is an organization which is giving some set of standard. If at all you need to manufacture a product, this much of steel quality you need to use, this much of plastic quality you need to use, this much of things you need to do. If you already following all this, then I simply put a ISI mark. So as a end user, I don't need to go with all the rules and all. I simply see a stamp, I just make use of it. In the same way, ISO organization is also there. ISI and ISO. ISO is for organizations, it's not for products. You see, even Naresh IT is ISO 2001 or 2002 certified, etc. and all. What do you mean by this? There is an organization, they take care of the company rules and regulation. Okay, do you have these many employees? Yes. Are you giving the PF for each and every employees? Yes. When you're taking the classes, are you giving this much of quality for the students, etc.? Are people are happy who are joining your classes, etc.? Considering those all, they will give a certificate saying that you are ISO 2001 or 2002, whatever it is. In the same way, ECMA is one of the organization which gives some standards to the programming languages. Okay, ECMA is one of the organization which gives the standards for the programming languages. Anyone who follow that standard, he will become an ECMA standard. Okay, right now in the market, ECMA 13 is the one which is going on. Then you may ask me a question, why the boss you are talking about ECMA 6 then? The reason is every year they keep releasing the updates. Okay, this year you need to follow this step. Next year, this step. Obviously, when they are releasing each and every year, do you see a lot of differences? No, there will be like minor differences, right? Every year I'm releasing, I say that, okay, next year you follow these type of coding standards and all. But what happened in ECMA 6 is, between ECMA 5 and ECMA 6, there was 6 years of gap, 5 years of gap. ECMA 5 was released in 2009. Later, the ECMA 6 got released in 2015. So almost like 5 to 6 years of gap. Obviously, the number of standards will be more. Yes or no? But from ECMA 7, again 2016 they have released, 2017 they are released, they are keep on releasing. But when they when they had a gap of ECMA 5 and ECMA 6, that is where huge number of standards are being released. That is the reason people go with the ECMA 6. Anyway, I will even concentrate on ECMA 13 also, but ECMA 6 I'll be stressing much. I will see what are the new standards, new programming language standards. From ECMA 6, JavaScript supported class keyword, extends keyword, constructor keyword, super keyword, this keyword. Lot of keywords have been supported from ECMA 6. In the same way, string literals, map data structure, set data structure. So those all things we are going to see in the ECMA 6. And one more point, guys. Yesterday someone asked me about, boss, are we going to cover the data structures also in this class? Yes. Okay, but don't get scared here. I know data structures is one of the scariest subjects in your academics. Yes or no? Very scary, right? Everyone. Yes, obviously, I mean, the reason is, only reason is data structures are having huge length of code. By looking into that itself, you used to get scared of it. Lot of data structures are there, like stacks, queues, trees, graphs, linked list, double linked list, circular linked list. Hell lot of data structures are there. But the advantage what you have with your JavaScript is, we don't have those many data structures, as JavaScript doesn't support pointers and addresses. When there is no concept of pointers and addresses, no graphs, no linked list, no tree structure, because trees, graphs, everything is being connected through the addresses only, right? Yes or no? So that is the reason it is not supported. Just give me a second, guys. Yeah. So yeah, that is what your ECMA. So we will actually cover this complete ECMA standards. I will talk about what is ECMA, what are the new standards, what it got. 100% we are going to cover all those. Okay. Next, coming to the jQuery. As I said you, it is just a library, okay, which is coming with some predefined set of methods. We are going to see the concept of something called DHTML. Dynamically DOM updations we are going to see, like document.create element, query selector, setting an attribute. Hell lot of operations are there. Those can be minified using the jQuery. Again, as I said you, jQuery is not a technology, just a library on the top of JavaScript. No JavaScript, no jQuery. Okay, it is just predefined methods. We'll talk about that. And Ajax, asynchronous JavaScript and XML, one of the very, very important topic. We will be covering like how to put a call from the client side to the server side. Okay, how do you receive the data from the server? How do you going to implement it? Those things we see in the Ajax. In the Ajax, I'm going to talk about synchronous, asynchronous, JSON, JSON-P, cross issues, cross origin resource sharing issues. Those all things we'll cover. And one of the data structure like JSON. Yeah, I think I'm talking about the data structures, right? Yeah. So as I said you, in JavaScript, I'm not supporting, it is not supporting all the data structures here. Very simple data structures, what it supports is arrays, JSON, sets, and maps, as simple as it is. Okay, these are the 4 or 5 data structures we have. That is what been supported. And those are very simple to implement, very simple to understand and implement also. Okay. Next, we talk about XML also. Why XML? Why not XML? XML is not being used nowadays, but I will still tell you about what is XML. How do you represent the data in XML? Why we are not using XML? Why JSON is overcoming XML? Those things we'll see. In the same way, there is concept of DHTML. Dynamically, how do we render the content on the page using your JavaScript? Those things we talk in your DHTML. And coming to the HTML5 and CSS3, as I said you, now the latest version is HTML5 and CSS3, which has come up with new advanced features. I will tell you one of the example, guys. I mean, what added in your HTML5. And one more thing is, when I say HTML5, simple new set of concepts. Okay. When I say HTML5 doesn't mean that leaving the HTML4 behind, only going with HTML4. No. Okay. Initially, we learn HTML4. Combine the new features of HTML5, go together. It is not only HTML4, leave out the HTML4. Now you only go with HTML5. That is not the case. Okay. And one more thing, what you have is HTML5 has come up with lot of new advanced features. Lot of look and feel of the application. Performance of the application has got changed the time we have started making use of the HTML5. Practical example, guys. Anyone who got a chance to see an error whenever you are loading a videos, have you ever got to see that Adobe ActiveX Flash Player need to be installed in order to see this video? Ever got a chance to see that error? You saw that, right? But it was earlier days. Nowadays, are you getting a chance to see that error? Have you ever seen that you need to install ActiveX, Adobe Flash Player and all? No. Why the reason? The reason is earlier when it is HTML4, HTML was not having the capability of just loading a video or a audio file by its individual. It used to depend upon the third-party plugins like Adobe Flash Player, etc. and all. That is the reason it is to ask you install, then only you load the video. But coming to the HTML5, lot of upgradations been happened. HTML itself is capable of loading an audio or video file without any dependency of the third-party plugins. That is one of the best example. This is one of the very simple part. On the top, it supports local storage, session storage concepts. It supports application cache concept, accessing an application offline, drag and drop support, navigator object, canvas tag, SVG tag, web workers, semantic tags, section, article, hell lot of things are there. Those all things will be covering when I come to the HTML5. And coming to the CSS3, that is again advanced part, new concepts from your CSS3, using which you don't need to depend upon the JavaScript to add some animation effect. If it is CSS2, to add some animation effect, you go with the JavaScript to add some animations. But now if it is CSS3, lot of animation effects like keyframes, grid systems, what else we have? Grid systems, sticky containers, and linear gradients, circular gradients, okay, borders. Lot of new features are there in your CSS3. Those all things will be covered along with the media queries for creating a responsive pages. Okay, so I'll pause here, guys. I will start about this responsive pages. What do you mean by responsive pages? What is the reason we go with the responsive pages? And how do you are going to solve this in using your media queries? Along with Bootstrap and remaining topics, I'm going to take it tomorrow. Is that fine, everyone? Okay, so any questions up to what we discussed today? Okay, sir, which application should we use for recording? Aarti, like I'm not very much clear. Maybe you can search in Google, you will find out. If you still didn't get it, I can ask one of my other students from other batch. I will get it out. But in between, you can search in Google. So any questions up to this, guys? At least a minimum. As I said to you, I'm not asking you to, sorry, I haven't given the complete depth information. I just give you a brief idea, just a minimum information. Yes. jQuery. jQuery is one of the JavaScript library using which DHTML operations can be simplified. That is what it is used for. Pausing here, I'll take remaining when I actually start with the jQuery. Okay, and one thing, guys, 8:30 is the fixed time. No, 8:30 will be the only fixed time, guys. I'm not going to change the timing. As I said you, at 11 o'clock, I need to log into my office. That is the reason no change in your timings. It will be always 8:30 to 10 o'clock. Weekdays also we are going to have a, sorry, on weekend, Saturday is also working day for us. Only on Sunday it's a holiday. And I have an assignment for you today, guys. Today what I want you to do is two things. One is install Telegram app. Hope everybody is already using it. Anyone not using Telegram? Socialistic people. Nice. Okay, so everybody make sure you install Telegram app. Okay, once you install the Telegram, you will be generated with a unique ID, guys. Keep ready with your unique ID @ so and so. Under your settings, you can actually set your unique ID. The advantage what you have with your Telegram app is you can hide your contact numbers. You don't need to expose your contact number. Okay, that is the reason I'm not using WhatsApp. Even WhatsApp also we have an option, but I want to go with the Telegram. Once I add you all into the group, you can actually hide your contact number so that others won't get disturbed. Mainly boys won't get any disturbances. Okay, so make sure you install the Telegram app and get ready with the ID. And the second thing is create a, sign up with your GitHub. Okay, two things, get ready with the Telegram and sign up with the GitHub. How do you sign up with the GitHub? Very simple. Go to github.com. Okay, github.com is the web page. Okay, I'm already signed in. Let me sign out. Okay, so once you go into the github.com, this is how the web page is going to look like. Simply click on sign in. It will be asking for your, sorry, not for sign in. You have to sign up, right? If you already have an account, that is fine. Otherwise, simply click on sign up. It will be asking for mail ID, password, etc. things and all. Make sure you get ready with the sign up. Am I clear? And make sure you remember the email ID, what you get registered with the GitHub, because you might be having multiple Gmail IDs. Okay, that time I'm going to ask you sooner, within a couple of days, I'm going to ask you, give me your Gmail ID so that I will add you as a collaborator. In order to make you as a collaborator, first of all, you need to have the GitHub account here. So get ready with this GitHub account. Everyone so clear with this? So tomorrow I will tell you what are the installations need to be done. But for today, you just install the Telegram, get ready with the ID, and simply click on the sign up GitHub. And again, if you have any of the questions, I already gave this, but this is my Telegram ID. If you have any questions, you can ping me over there. Okay, so let's sign off for today. We'll meet again back on tomorrow. Guys, again, one more, I think yesterday someone is asking the question, boss, why you're leaving? I mean, you're starting a bit late and you're leaving a bit early. The only reason is demo classes. Okay, once we actually start the class, exactly 8:30, exactly 10 o'clock, we are going to stop it. Okay, have a good day and bye for today.